Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a couple points of considerably good news. The first I just want to start off with, today we're only reporting 94 positive cases. You have to go back almost a full calendar year to have a day in which we were under 100 positive cases, and I think this is encouraging. We continue to see our case count, as we'll show in a minute, trending in a positive direction. The other is our vaccine numbers continue to be very high. With the addition of the DoD and VA numbers and everything we're doing, we remain one of the top counties in California. And so we're seeing considerable progress both in terms of cases, the much lower impact on our hospital system now, certainly than where we've ever been out of the recent year or so, along with progress around vaccines. And in that progress around vaccines, we fully expect and are highly confident that by late tonight, we will be in a position where the vaccine will be opened up for 12 to 15-year-olds. CDC appears to have finished their review. The Western States Working Group, that is comprised of public health officials from Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and California, are scheduled to meet this evening to review the FDA and CDC information, and we expect guidance to come out at some point tonight that would authorize a vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds beginning as early as tomorrow morning. We won't officially know that until tonight, but it is our expectation that tomorrow morning 12 to 15-year-olds will be able to receive the vaccine. We will confirm that later this evening with all of you once the Western States Working Group completes their review and issues their official guidance. In terms of how folks will be able to access the vaccine, for 12 to 15-year-olds, it is the Pfizer vaccine is the only one at which they're eligible for. The good news is we have significant quantities of Pfizer vaccine on hand. We've been able to, as we've had lower demand than we've had supply, kind of prioritize Moderna and J&J, and we're also getting increased shipments. And so we think we have a healthy amount of J&J vaccines that can serve that population of San Diegans, which we estimated 175,864. Again, 175,864 San Diego residents between the ages of 12 and 15. If you go on My Turn, once you enter the age of the person seeking to get a vaccine, it will only connect you with a Pfizer appointment, meaning an appointment at a location that has Pfizer vaccine. Additionally, all of our static locations or set locations will all have Pfizer vaccines available for drop-ins. So if you would like to make an appointment for your 12 to 15-year-old, you can do that, and that will ensure you get Pfizer, but you're also free to drop in at any of our set locations. The mobile sites that we're sharing that are mobile, that are moving around and temporary, those are primarily composed of J&J, but each of our set locations will have Pfizer available for drop-ins as well. And throughout the day, we will monitor the usage of those, and if we need to adjust and move Pfizer vaccines around, we can do that. But we believe we'll be able to meet the need of 12 to 15-year-olds in San Diego County via appointments and drop-in locations that are there. We will have a Q&A, which will be updated on our website as soon as the official guidance is given, that will walk folks through basic questions about you do need the consent of your parent or legal guardians in order to get vaccinated. Minors will have to show some proof of eligibility, just a birth certificate, a school ID, some form of ID to prove or show their age between 12 and 15. And so we'll have a Q&A that will be updated once the official guidance is out, and we expect that to happen this evening, and that will be on our website to answer any questions that folks may have surrounding 12 to 15-year-olds. The other encouraging trend I'll share with you in a little bit, we had a healthy supply of vaccines arrive this week. We are expecting more than 200,000 doses just into our system to be shipped next week. This will be a significant jump in the availability of vaccines. We're also encouraged that we think 2/3 of those will be Pfizer. So again, we will be in a strong position to meet the needs of 12 to 15-year-olds as we move forward. And we have plenty of vaccines available at this point. So we want to reiterate and encourage anyone, if you have not been vaccinated, please do. Our appointment system has been lengthened, so if you want to make an appointment, it's more convenient. You have a little more certainty about how long you'll be there. We're making it more convenient to make appointments. We also have drop-in at all of our locations. We have locations that are expanding hours, and we are increasing our mobile sites. I'll share with you in a minute a few of those. But last week, we launched a sign-up program where religious institutions, businesses, nonprofits, community groups that would like to have us bring a vaccine location into the community to them can apply for that. To date, we've received more than 60 submissions for vaccine events, and we're presently vetting those. We may not be able to fulfill every one of them, but we are looking for large-scale events where there's potentially hundreds of folks that could come in and get a vaccine. So our efforts around the vaccine, again, continue to shift to make it more convenient, make it easier to access, and we're very excited about the pending. Again, it won't be official until the Western States Working Group signs off tonight, which includes California Department of Public Health as a part of that group. But we are optimistically looking to the high probability that will happen this evening, and then we'll be able to open up vaccines to that population, 12 to 15, hopefully as early as tomorrow morning. With that, let's jump into our slides. Here again, you just see the progress we're making towards that initial goal of vaccinating 75%. We are 86% of the way there, 86.7% of the way there with first doses, 63.8% of the way there with second doses, or with fully vaccinated, I should say. The population and goal population numbers will change once we open up to 12 to 15-year-olds. We will add those eligible folks into our calculation. And so you could wake up tomorrow and see these numbers dip a little bit. And the reason for that is just because we have increased the eligible population once 12 to 15-year-olds are eligible. But again, you see 3.2 million doses administered, and we feel very confident about where we're going there. Next chart, this is what I was alluding to earlier, that case rate. You know, we've had some days, yesterday was 125. We've certainly had some days down. But again, 94, you got to go all the way back to May 31st of last year. A day that we reported 73 cases. You have to go all the way back to this month a year ago for a single day, any day, when our case count was under 100. And the day-to-day numbers, as we've often said, are not important. They go up and down a little bit. But I think what you see here is our percentage of positive low, our case rate low, and generally positive news overall about what we're doing. The next chart here, again, we're just showing the totals for what was actually received. You can see right there this week, 302,000, so up 50,000 from last week. Still not an all-time high. That happened a little bit earlier this month, but we have plenty of vaccine to be able to meet the need, and we think next week's totals will be even higher than what we have now. So we just want the public to know there are vaccines available. If you haven't gotten in now, please do. We want to continue our progress towards getting folks vaccinated. Next slide here is an update on some mobile sites, and this is also available on our website. And this is a listing of dates along with community locations. You can see markets, senior centers, partnerships with the Catholic Church and other religious institutions, community groups, businesses, the consulate, community colleges, libraries. Again, we're doing everything we can to get out into the community and set up mobile vaccination sites where folks can drop in and get their shots. Again, to reiterate, if you have a 12 to 15-year-old, please do not show up at one of the mobile sites. We cannot guarantee there will be Pfizer available. The mobile sites are primarily using J&J vaccines. Makes it a little bit easier to not have to come back to the same mobile site 21 or 28 days later. But Pfizer will be available at all of our static locations throughout the county. And we encourage folks to go to our website. And a number of folks will just go to your healthcare provider. You can always reach out to your pediatrician or your healthcare provider. And once they are approved, they will be eligible as well. And then the final chart here is just our weekly thing. And again, you can see our case rate had a pretty significant drop there from 5.0, our adjusted case rate last week, down to 3.7. And so we think this is a good testament. Again, as we talked about last week, probably not likely we get into the yellow tier before June 15th. Certainly could happen, but I think unlikely. We'd have to continue descending at the rate we did, and we're probably going to run into June 15th before we would get to that point. But we are encouraged to see our case count descending, our unadjusted rate lower, our adjusted rate lower, our testing positivity percentage lower, and our health equity testing positivity percentage lower as well. And so we think this represents continued progress.